Hello everyone, I'm SSJ Janjay and I'm doing another week of Dragon Ball Super reviews. In this week's episode was absolutely amazing, I have to say. I don't want to give any spoilers until I get to it, but with last week's episode I didn't upload that because I found that was not on my time schedule, because the way I work, it rotates through the week and it just happened to land on that day and I couldn't do that week. So with specific episodes I can't really upload them and do reviews until I get a day off in that time. So I hope you can really respect that, because I only have so much time to do certain things, and this is one of the hobbies that I can do now and then, which I generally enjoy. Back to this week's episode. How this starts off is that we see Gohan and Piccolo training together. They try to see how their power matches each other. What Gohan was doing to Krillin, and Krillin just ended up annihilating him. The thing with Piccolo, he's not being easy on Gohan, and not only that, Piccolo looks a lot stronger at this point as well, telling them to get ready and it's gonna be a proper fight, so not to take any chances type of such. It's not a long session between them two that we get to see. After that we get to the point of where Bulma was on the phone to someone. I didn't pay much attention to that, if I'm honest. We get to see a discussion between Whis and Beerus at how they're deciding whether to tell Bulma or not, because obviously she's got Bulla there with Trunks and Goten attempting to change a nappy. I have to say it's quite entertaining to see how well adapted Vegeta is as well, because Vegeta just stepped in and did it like a proud dad. But with Beerus and Whis, they decide whether they need to tell Bulma or not, and it comes to like some little daydream of them like trying to tell her, and then she's just getting Beerus by the ear, telling her what not and why he isn't doing anything and why it's happened. So it's got a bit of humour in there, which everyone enjoys. We then see Krillin and 18 training together whilst Marion was playing with her toys, but they were having a quick training session to see where they both stand up against each other, and with them doing this, I get the aspect that they can fight together really well. I know Android 17 and 18 are like brother and sister, and they're like near enough identical with the way they fight, and they're like Zamasu and Black, where they can coordinate attacks perfectly. And I think that Krillin and 18 are like filling in that position just in case they get separated. We get to a scene where they are training together, and I think what they're doing, that whoever wins gets their half of the 10 million zenny. Obviously that is not the case, as we all know, but Android 18 is the only person that thinks there is a winning prize money. Two ladies walking past, they think they're just having marriage quarrels, and as it is in the Dragon Ball Z life, it's just never is. What I didn't expect in this episode though for the next scene is that we cut to Kaba in Universe 6. He's on his way through space, and by the time he gets to his destination we cut to this random ponytail guy with he has a injured leg by the looks of it. Kaba refers to him as his old teacher, which is obviously indicating that this guy is a Saiyan as well. His name is Renzo. So with him being Kaba's teacher, I mean the way Kaba fights, obviously in the Universe 6 tournament, he fights an extent where got no fighting style like Goku or Vegeta, despite being a Saiyan. It's the way they think too. But when Renzo sees Kaba, and Kaba's going to talk to him, because Kaba's been left to recruit the rest of the Universe 6 team for the Zeno tournament. He thinks that because of his teacher being there, he's hoping to like recruit him, but I don't think Kaba understands like how extreme measures he needs to find, because it's not just going to be Saiyans that he's going to need. Renzo explains to Kaba that he can sense his difference in power and the fact that he's not as good as he used to be despite the leg. Kaba shows him the Super Saiyan transformation and as it is to be expected, he's shocked. With that Super Saiyan transformation, Renzo decides that he is absolutely no match for whatever is coming up. He explains of this, that the female Super Saiyan, Renzo insists that Kaba takes his sister, which is, her name is Caulifla, or Caulifla, however you pronounce it, it's Japanese terms, but she is the female Broly we have been anxious to see so very much. She seems very primitive with the way she looks. I mean, you get a short cutscene, you get a short scene of her, and she's just munching down on a bit of meat, and she's like the queen of her area. So I'm guessing they're going to be like the primal type of Saiyans, which obviously insists Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan transformation, which it ties in so well with how they're doing it. That's one thing, that's how she's going to be recruited, but apparently Kaba doesn't get along with her too well, so he's probably going to find a bit of difficulty, but I imagine they're probably going to have a little battle, known as her Saiyans. They're going to have a little fight just to obviously recruit one another, or he's going to make a fib to her and wish her all the food in the world type of thing. After that, cut back to Gohan and Piccolo, and it's such a memory of fighting. It's so good to see them both fight again. From the first episodes in Dragon Ball Z, you see Kid Gohan and Piccolo training, but now seeing them as adults, well, Piccolo's always been an adult since he's like been 4 years old. Seeing them as adults and fighting together now is just excellent. Piccolo encourages him to fight more seriously and obviously to tap in more to that power, because I think the more Piccolo lays into Gohan, the more he understands his power a bit more, like his training sense is coming back to him, especially after the mini tournament that's just gone by. So what we see here, before they go into battle each other once again, Gohan becomes Super Saiyan 2, which we haven't seen in such a long time for him. I mean, I think the last time we generally seen him go Super Saiyan 2 was just in the World Tournament in Dragon Ball Z, where he met Kibito and Shin, which is the Supreme Kai, at the start of the Majin Buu saga. Sorry, that is the very last time I believe we've seen Gohan go Super Saiyan 2. But to see him go that again, to see that he can actually still become it, is good, because in the Resurrection F arc, it's like he couldn't even like become a normal Super Saiyan again. So it's like he's lost absolutely everything, which is sad to see. We'll go on with how much he has been developed, especially when in the Frieza saga and the Cell saga. It was just heart crushing, because you grow up with him like you did with Goku. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan goes up against this time. It's not what you expect. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan does not just annihilate Piccolo. Piccolo just annihilates him completely instead in every aspect, because of Piccolo's fighting genius, and Gohan isn't very fighting experienced. He's just more head rush in. He just goes and thinks he can beats whoever he's fighting and hopefully win, which Piccolo points out shortly after their little scuffle. Because what Piccolo does, he seems to be getting his stretchy arm ability again a lot. He's using it a lot more than he ever did in Dragon Ball. In fact, he didn't ever use it in Dragon Ball Z, I don't think. He only used it in Dragon Ball, other than the super large Namekian technique. What Piccolo does to Gohan here, he suffocates him until he passes out, which is quite brutal, but I can understand it between a Piccolo and Gohan type of thing, because Piccolo's always been hard on Gohan, and he knows what it will take to get Gohan really into it. But even Gohan realizes that Piccolo is extraordinarily strong for him, even in Super Saiyan 2. But Piccolo just states that he's been training whilst Gohan's been like studying and being a family man. So it's understandable on how strong Piccolo has become, but I never understood how strong he has come, because it's quite impressive. Because in the Cell saga, I think that's the last time we've really seen him focus on training, but it's only just a bit stronger than Super Saiyan, where he makes Gohan passes out. He does his reviving technique where he puts his hand to his chest, same thing like he did to Gohan in Resurrection of F, but it's more so just to wake him up, because he just wants him to continue. Where he is making Gohan realize this, Gohan's obviously getting frustrated and at the fact that he isn't as strong as he thought he was, and Piccolo's just being harsh, and he's telling him that he's just naive as he was back in the Majin Buu saga. He was explaining that he was just being big-headed and he is just drunk on power, and he needs to understand that he needs to be full power against anyone he goes against, which I think this is what triggered Gohan, because he understands that if he keeps doing that, everyone will die. Like everyone he loves, obviously Videl and Pan, and I think this is where the fatherly figure comes in, like where Goku used to do. It's frustrating, and obviously he's really focusing on adapting into his power, and he begins to power up, and it's everything we've been waiting for. I mean, they're bringing Gohan back. He manages to transform back into his mystic form, or Ultimate Gohan, as you like to call him. It made the whole episode for me. I mean, it made the whole episode for me. I mean, Piccolo's even surprised that he was able to do it so soon. But it's what happens next that gets me quite puzzled, because when Gohan unlocks the power once again and transforms into it, Piccolo begins to clone himself, like he does with his cloning training, like he used to do in Hyperbolic Time Chamber. It's the fact that he has so many clones, and Gohan is kind of really have to try fighting them all. But then I can understand that obviously with Piccolo being strong, as strong as he is, he should be able to. Gohan at this point should be a bit stronger than what Piccolo is now. But this is the thing, I don't know how far Piccolo has exactly come, because I know he wasn't trying his best, and neither was Gohan. I think he was just getting back into the form, getting used to it. But more or less, it's just absolutely amazing to see that he's back in the form, and I'm glad that Piccolo was the one able to bring it out, because Piccolo is basically his green dad. Let's just settle with that. That is his green dad. The clone fighting, Gohan is just taking them all on. He's doing a great job of it. And then with one certain scene, Piccolo comes into, well, one of the Piccolos come in to attack Gohan from the back. Gohan notices, and he does like his normal karate chop, like he did in the Cell Saga, like chopping off the head of one of those Cell Juniors back in the day. But he did it to Piccolo's arm, and instead of it being a clone, it is the real Piccolo, and Gohan just straight up severed his arm. I mean, it was a real fight and all, but Gohan didn't mean to do that. But what got me in real shock is that even though Piccolo had his arm severed, his arm flew back and still blasted Gohan in the back, and that is really extraordinary for Piccolo. I know he's smart and all, but that is just insane to have a limb coming back and just attack your enemy for you. I mean, it's like a Majin Buu type of thing where he took all the goo off to absorb everyone, but Piccolo has just proven his point one more time that Gohan is just letting his guard down all of the time, and that it shouldn't have. He pointed it out on that he mainly did it during the Majin Buu saga, and that's why he got absorbed. I think that's making him realise a lot more on what's happened. Between the fight between these two and the character adaptation a bit more, it was absolutely excellent. I mean, I was well pleased with what was happening here. But I think what made it worse for this episode, though, we cut to Yamcha. Believe it or not, he still thinks he's gonna be invited, and we all know he's not. It's Yamcha. Come on, guys. It's not really worth it, is it? Close off the scene, we cut off with Yamcha expecting Goku to come in with his instant transmission, but it's not going to happen. It really isn't. I mean, we've got what we've wanted for a very long time with Gohan. I mean, he's coming back, and not only that, at the end of their fight, thinks Gohan can get much stronger. So I am expecting a new form for Gohan as well as Goku, because that just gave a massive hint. Or he's gonna teach Gohan to master that form even more. And with that wonderful bit of news, I think I'm going to put an end to this episode. With these episodes and the tournament coming up, it's becoming really exciting, and I'm enjoying every single episode and every moment of it. I know they're going to be doing some fillers. Everyone can just look at the previews themselves, but I'm going to stick. If you enjoy this type of content, guys, then feel free to like and subscribe. But I don't even mind comments of criticisms telling me how I can improve the videos so it can benefit you guys. With the other YouTubers, I don't want to copy them. I know we're all doing the same thing. I mean, we just do it as a hobby, and I support that. We all have different views on what's happened, but I want to get involved in that type of community, because it seems like a really good community, like where loads of people just take interest in the same thing and they just all come together. I like that type of support. But this is SSJ Janjay, and I will see you in the next video. Isn't even there, but 17